Now for a very special segment, our Poet Spotlight.
For this month's Poet Spotlight, Storm interviewed freshman Jacob Klamer. Let's check it out.
I was involved in making a video that unfortunately caused a lot of hate to get spewed online towards two college friends of mine. February 7th, 2013 ended up making at least one of Whittier College students internet famous. I've talked about him before because he's acted for me in a number of films, and it kind of felt almost shady to not talk about this as if I was trying to sweep it under the rug or something. So let's get into it. It came up in a QCTV meeting that there should be a segment done on Klamer, a freshman at Whittier College who had become fairly well known around campus. I first mentioned Klamer back in Season 3, Episode 12. I gave him a speaking role in Broken Vow in Season 3, Episode 18, and I mentioned him again in Season 4, Episode 2. And I'd even go on to cast him in 2 more of my films later on. He had gotten a role in a famous play that Whittier College was putting on called Picasso at the Lapin, Agile, and Klamer played Elvis Presley, which put him more in the public eye than before. He had a large personality and a particular manner of speaking, and he usually wore a large plaid jacket that had large pockets, and he kept a lot of things in those pockets. So the idea was to do a walkthrough of what he kept in those pockets while generating interest in the play he was a part of. In the video, Klamer was interviewed by Selorm Kploanyi, a musician, filmmaker, and social media influencer who would go on to work for BuzzFeed and even won an Emmy for her work producing The Kelly Clarkson Show.
For the month of February, we have our new Poet Spotlight, and for this month, we've chosen a new student who calls himself Klamer. His name is almost as much of a mystery as the things he carries around in his pocket. From his Shakespearean dialogue to his plaid jacket, this kid is probably one of the biggest characters you will meet on campus. Let's get some details from him and some of his friends.
For anyone that knew them back then, this was just a casual, kind of funny interview that explained a little more about Klamer's eccentric personality, but nothing we didn't see around campus fairly often.
The thing I like the most about Klamer is that he's not afraid to show his unabashed oddities. The thing that make Klamer who Klamer is. For instance, his jacket that he wears all the time. I'd like to call it the coat of many pockets because it has so many pockets and each one of them is filled with just the randomest crap you could find. Like he has a bag of metal wrapped in a Norwegian flag.
If anything, we might have focused a little too much on the items in his jacket pockets and not enough on him as a person, but it wasn't terrible.
There's a rubber chicken in his pocket, tarot cards, scrap of metal. I always feel safe walking with him in Uptown.
Keep in mind, he was only 18 years old, and this was the first time he was ever interviewed.
I'm here with new freshman, Klamer, and you're in the play, right?
Indeed.
How's that going?
Well, it's going chillfully thus far. I'm not... it's a little soon to tell, but I'm feeling good about it.
What's your role in the play?
I play Elvis. Indeed.
Tell us about that character.
It's Elvis Presley, the famous 50s, 60s, and 70s person. The singer, songwriter, that sort of thing.
Now, Klamer, you're famous for your unique way of talking. We were just wondering how you developed this eloquent way of speaking.
Oh my. Well, I'm not entirely sure, actually. It just sort of happened, and I enjoyed it, and I just sort of stuck with it. The end.
All right, so we spoke to some of your friends, and they spoke a lot about some of the things you have in your pocket.
All good things, I trust.
Would you be willing to show us some of those things?
Well, since you asked so nicely, let's do it.
Perfect.
First off, we have my metal pocket, which is tied up in a Norwegian flag.
Okay.
Because I felt like it. We have, all sorts of different things here. First off, we have the thing that breaks the rule, a rock. This is a piece of an airplane. Oh, that would be just fine. This is a piece of a pocket watch.
Pocket watch?
Indeed. This is a piece of a gate.
A gate.
This is a car door.
Now, I can't lie, there are some funny moments in the video. There are some moments that make you wonder, well, why was he collecting these things? But what I found is that there was usually a story behind most of them, right? He mentions pieces of things that had broken or things he'd picked up along the way, but there was usually some sort of good memory or experience that he had for each of those things. And, maybe that's not true for all of them, but it was for at least some of them. And I think that gave a little more context to what was going on and to why he was doing that.
Peace sign.
Peace sign.
Indeed. Round thing.
So you carry all these things around in your pocket?
Yeah. Other round thing.
Do they ever come in handy?
Usually not. If it comes in handy, it goes in my other pockets.
Okay.
My regular pockets. These are just I enjoy them for the novelty of it, don't you know?
On top of that, he'd recently been stopped by the police, so that came up as well.
Now, you had a situation where you actually got stopped by the police, and they saw some of the things in your pocket. What did they say?
Well, first off, they weren't going to search me, but my metal pocket clanked against the car door, so they asked me to empty out all of my pockets. And one thing I carry around is a deck of tarot cards and some other things, I guess, that are strange. So while they were making the report, this was a verbatim quote. We've got an 18-year-old Caucasian male, driver's license number, my driver's license number. He's some sort of witch doctor.
We shot it, edited it, and then posted it on February 7th, 2013, and had no idea that it would be perhaps the most viral video to ever come out of Whittier College.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he looks like a pretty entertaining guy. I'm definitely going to watch his play.
However, after it was posted on YouTube, it made its way to Reddit, specifically r cringe, and they were much harsher about the whole thing. Klamer became the target to make fun of, and I don't want to get into specifics, but a number of neurodivergent slurs were used against him, among other things, and Selorm became a target by association, and a number of racial and gendered slurs were used against her. They had some defenders in those forums, but remember that people who dislike something are much more likely to comment than people who like something. This online reaction was strong enough that an article was written about it in the QC newspaper. And Klamer, to his credit, didn't seem bothered by the whole thing when they asked him about it, just surprised that it had gotten the attention it had. Selorm was also shocked by the amount of negative attention it got. But that clip made its way around the internet for years to come. And a YouTuber named Moist Critical even made a video about it in 2024, renewing interest in it and reviving the video in a number of ways. So I felt like it was worth making this video to give some more background to the situation and be honest about it, because I always felt a little guilty about my part in what happened. I mean, I wasn't the reporter or the only videographer for that episode, but I did shoot part of it. I was in the pre-production meetings with the rest of the QCTV staff, and I was friends with both of the people who got the majority of the hate from internet trolls. Now, Selorm's more recent work has overpowered anything that was said about her back then. I don't think she needs defending at this point, but that was the biggest thing Klamer was known for online. So let me just set the record straight here, because a lot of untrue things were said about him after that video came out. So here we go. Klamer was not a social pariah. He had a lot of casual friends, a solid close friend group, a girlfriend, a job. He was well liked on campus. He has a good heart. He was part of a number of groups around campus, and he wasn't attending a community college. This was a 4-year college that offers at least a couple master's programs. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing to keep in mind is it's much more common for people to hate on something online than it is for them to express positivity. Even though most of the people that met Klamer liked him once they got to know him as a person. So what did I learn from all that? Be careful about what videos you make and what you decide to post online and why. That applies even more if you have mental health issues, because internet trolls can be brutal, and it's easy for people to obsess over what's said about them online. But you'll have to tune in next week to find out how I met the co-founder of Film Break and how that changed a number of lives.